Hey, what's going on YouTube? It is GeneralTarheel, your coach of Charizards, bringing you the P4G Next Generation Week 2 battle versus Coach Matt in the Montreal Milotics. So I am back, and it is a little bit better this time because I do have face cam on this time, and I do have my mic back. I did have to reinstall Windows in order to fix my USBs for some reason, which was kind of buggy. But now we have the mic back. You guys probably hear me more clearly now because it's closer. Hope you enjoy my love. Anyways. So much better to be back with the mic and the face cam and whatnot. And week 2 here for Matt. Hoping we can come back from that unfortunate loss from Ultra Player and the New York Metaverse. It did come down to a few misses with Focus Blast. It was a pretty close game still. So I wasn't too upset about the loss still, because I know Ultra Player is an amazing coach as well. So when we were getting into week 2, looking at Matt's team, I didn't know if he were going to pull through or not. He does have a pretty interesting team. The matchup was going both ways in my opinion. His roster consisted of Celesteela, Rotom Wash, Crocodile, Snorlax, Alola Marowak, Girder, Mew, Raikou, Ribombay, Ditto, Haxorus, any of this Steelium Z. Most likely drafting that Steelium Z to go with like an Autotomized Celesteela and stuff like that. So, but wasn't too sure how I felt about the matchup, and I was really busy this week actually, so I didn't even fully build this team. I gave brief outlines, but my buddy Nico and a little bit of Silver Smasher helped me out to build this team, which was nice of them. It was really helpful because I was just too busy, I couldn't get around to it. But the unfortunate thing is if you have someone build your team for you, you do not know the matchup as well. So that's one thing I was worried about when I was going into this match. I'm like, okay, what should I really be expecting him to have versus me and stuff like that. Like, when I wasn't included, I wasn't as prepared, if you can understand that. So. But as for the team, quickly brief sum up of it. I had a very defensive Gligar with Eviolite, Defog Roost, Earthquake U-Turn. We had a offensive Kyurem-Black mixed with a lot of speed with the ICM Z, so we can hit it with the Sub-Zero Slammer. I had Fusion Bolt, Earth Power, Free Shock, and Substitute. Basically get up a substitute for something if I can, and then just get a kill with Free Shock, or just click it and just get a kill like immediately. And then next up is a Mixed Bulk Lantern, basically just to take on his Raikou and his Rotom Wash really well for my team. It had Volt Switch, Scald, Heal Bell, and Thunder Wave. Heal Bell would be very nice considering he does have a few things that will want to pass status, such as Mew and Rotom Wash. Next up is Entei. We are carrying the Lychee Berry with Zuko. We have the Natural Gift, Sacred Fire, Extreme Speed, Stone Edge. Natural Gift with the Lychee Berry will make it a base 100 grass type move. In order to hit that Rotom Wash with. If he's not completely like bulky, Sacred Fire and the Sacred Fire Burn. Oh, sorry, Stealth Rock damage and Sacred Fire Burn with Natural Gift does have a chance to KO. But if he's max defense in order to take on Entei, which I expect, it won't pick up the KO. But if he's like mixed, there's a good chance. And then we have Cobalion. Cobalion had the Shuckleberry, Close Combat, Stone Edge, Volt Switch, and Stealth Rock. Basically just give me a solid Stealth Rock user versus team. I also forgot at the beginning of this battle that Rotom does get defog, but other than that, Stealth Rocks were going to be nice versus team, because Ribombay was a threat versus team, and it was not prepped for well. And I was definitely going to be scared about that, so getting up rocks so it could limit it would be important. And then lastly we have Shaman. This is an HP Speedy Shaman with Seed Flare, Earth Power, Leech Seed, and Substitute. Might have been better to have Synthesis over Substitute, but still worked out. So going into this battle, like I mentioned, I wanted to get up my Stealth Rocks up because that Ribombay absolutely destroys my team. If it specs, it is getting a kill on, like, there's no switch-ins to it, like, it's just gonna get a kill. It's that free. So far I really don't like having Cobalion as my steal, in this league at least, because it's just really hurting me, I feel like. But as we wanted to get the lead right here, as we kick off the battle, I was a little bit worried about Scarf Crook doing some cleanup work if my Gligar really did get low and he went ahead and knocked off my Eviolite. Entei definitely put some work if I can weaken that Rotom. I do have to get Chip on the Celesteela if he is like not even defense invested, because Celesteela is just that fat. And Entei's a little weaker without the Choice Band, which is pretty unfortunate. But I'm going to lead Cobalion so I can get up a rocks as he leads Celesteela. I'm just going to get them right here. I could have opted to Volt Switch, but I just wanted to get them up turn 1. And I get to scout what his Celesteela wants to do, because if he does have Earthquake, it's going to do nothing, because I do have the Shucka. It's a shame it had to be wasted already, because it was more so to help me versus the Crocodile in the late game. So I can click close combat versus if he does try to just EQ my Cobalion. But as we take the Shucker, we're just going to Volt Switch now on the Celesteela, and I'm going to go into Shaman as I don't really have a good switch into the Celesteela either. I have a really poor matchup versus this thing, and I'm just going to try and be a nuisance with Leech Seed and stuff. But of course he is packing the Air Slash for the Shaman, which is really smart prep, as he didn't go for the Earthquake there, which is a reasonable play, considering Air Slash is still going to do a decent amount to Cobalion because of its low SPDF. We get lefties, he gets lefties, but that Air Slash did do around 40% to Shaman, which really sucks. So I'm going to switch out here, just go into Entei, put on some offensive pressure. There's no way he clicks EQ again. He most likely either just clicks Protect to scout what I'm going for, or he just opts to go for another Air Slash. He really loses nothing from doing either, and he just opts to go for the Air Slash. So Entei will have to take this damage, which is really unfortunate, but at the same time, this Celesteela hurts me so much is that I need to press it as much as possible. So as he's going to withdraw right here, I just click Sacred Fire 1,000,000%, and he will just go into the Rotom. Rotom will come in on the Stealth Rocks, and then I will go for the Sacred Fire, showing he is a max defense Rotom. Just about, might not be complete, but just about 252. He does get burned, however, and that helps us a little bit. He does not show to be lefties though. I did opt to go for the Natural Gift here, but of course it wasn't going to kill just because of his bulk. I just felt like taking the risk anyways, because if he did opt to go for the Defog here, I could kill Rotom. But I should have known when he did with leftovers that he was going to be Papa Berry, which was very smart on his part. And he gets all his health right back after that Natural Gift just being a complete waste, which is really unfortunate. And now I have to work around this Rotom. So I'm going to go into my Lantern. Probably would have been best to go into Shaman because he wouldn't click Volt Switch with a Lantern on the team. And then I wouldn't have to have this happen right now. But as I go into the Lantern, I do get Toxic by him, and this kind of just forces me to go for a Heal Bell at one point, and that would kind of suck. I was kind of predicting I'm going for either predicting my Volt Switch or going for a Heal Bell and trying to get momentum with Crook, but he makes a safe play and just goes into Mew, which is still smart. But so I just opted to click Skull because I was hoping for that Crocodile to switch in. But he does go Mew. He did get the Skull with the burn. Skull does nothing, showing he's more of a bulky Mew, as we do also see the lefties to prove that as well. And then we just get our lefties and a little bit of poison damage. Next up right here, I'm just going to opt to get off my Heal Bell, so I can just not be toxic, then come in freely versus a lot of things later on as well. As he goes for the Stealth Rocks here with Mew, I do just go for the Heal Bell like I mentioned. Getting Lantern healthy and just coming in. Lantern doesn't have too much use honestly because Rotom doesn't have any form of getting its health back up unless he is carrying the Pain Split along with that Papa Berry, which would be really strange in my opinion. Being worn down by that burn and stuff. So Lantern's really not going to be useful, especially since he doesn't have the Raikou either. He will just opt for the go for the Ice Beam in case I did decide to make a switch right there, but I am just going to opt to go for this little Volt Switch versus the Mew. And as we get off the Volt Switch, we are just going to switch out Lantern right here, and we're going to go into Kyurem-Black. And this is where we're going to pick up a kill. If he's defensive Mew, he might stay in here, and he's just going to die. If he's not, then that's good to know, and he's just going to sack something else, because Icy picks up a kill versus anything here, except for the Rotom Watch, of course, but I can kill it afterwards. But that'd be kind of risky for him to go into Rotom, considering he needs that for his Entei switching. So as I just click the Icy here, which is probably one of the best like Z dance moves right there, like they're pretty robotic and whatnot. Gonna fire off this Sub-Zero Slammer with Free Shock. It just does so much damage to Pokemon, it's ridiculous. I believe this Mew was even knocked out like just right after Stealth Rock damage or something like that. So we will take out the Mew right here, which is very nice. Don't have to worry about that thing because it was going to be a nuisance for my team. So it was really nice to get rid of that already. He will go to Rabamba here, and right here I wasn't actually sure what I wanted to do for my play, so I ran out of time. And Kyurem-Black had just stayed in and unfortunately died to the Moonblast. It still was probably my best option. I had no switch into this. It two-shot at everything, especially if it was Specs. I really just wanted to get Gligar in for free and then get off my Defog, because this allows me to make sure he does not get Stealth Rocks versus my team anymore because Mew is gone. And I can get on my Stealth Rocks again with Cobalion later on if I really wanted to. which he already defogged with Rotom, so never mind, I will just get him up again at one point. So he will switch into Celesteela on my defog, which is perfectly fine. Right here with Gligar, I'm just going to opt to go for the U-turn. I really wish I brought Taunt instead of U-turn, because one, U-turn was kind of pointless here. That's like a whopping, like, what, 2% to Celesteela. So we're going to switch out here, go into Zuko, hopefully not take an Air Slash from this Celesteela, and he will just opt to go for the Leech Seed. Now, as he does go for the Leech Seed, I was kind of predicting him to not stay in here, or sorry, at least opt to go for the Protect. I didn't really think he would stay in here, but I didn't check the damage until later on. That Sacred Fire did not KO this Celesteela because I was not choice banded. So he did just opt to go for the Earthquake here, and he will get a lot of damage off on my Lantern. Really regretting bringing this Lantern a little bit, to be completely honest. Just purely because Celesteela does wall it. Nico made this, as you'll see the next turn, made this Lantern 15 speed IVs relaxed or something like that. So we can get a slow Volt Switch off for Celesteela to get an Entei in for free, but Entei's not hitting hard without its choice band, and Lantern's going to be taken over around like 45 for an Earthquake. So Lantern goes down there because of that. To be fair, I just couldn't handle this Celesteela in the first place, so it didn't really matter there. Lantern going away is probably just for the best bet. I'm going to go into Entei here. I just had to click Sacred Fire once again. There's a solid chance I do a KO the Rotom if he opts to switch into that. So as I go for the Sacred Fire, we'll be knocking this thing down to like 10%, as we do get the burn, which is very nice because now we will live after the EQ. Earthquake and Air Slash would be doing a little bit more, but it was still probably in his best play to go for Earthquake because it was a 50% chance whether or not he would get burned. I do not completely agree for him staying in because Celesteela healthy this game was very important for him. But he will just opt to just sack the Celesteela now as I go for Sacred Fire and take it out, which is very nice because I had no way of dealing with this Celesteela. I'm really surprised he opted to let it take the Sacred Fire. I mean, I know it can, it would live it and stuff, but risking that burn just wasn't necessary. As we go for the Stone Edge here on the Rotom Wash, because I am 1,000,000% out of range of a Volt Switch, he actually gets one of the higher rolls here, just about max, as I live on 2 HP. Unless he did have some special attack investment. But I just want to go ahead and get the chip on that Rotom just so it can't really switch in anymore. I didn't really have a switch in for Volt Switch anyways, because the Lantern is gone. So as he brings in Crook, I'm just going to go in the Shaman on the knockoff. I could have went into Cobalion, but at the same time I didn't really want to check for that. So I wanted to go into Cobalion here and prove whether or not he's Scarf. Him making this double does make me predict he is Scarf, which is very important because Scarf Crook will be a pain. Just get walled by Gligar. It can still be a pain. So right here I'm just going to stay in, get off the Stone Edge. There's a solid chance that we get the kill here. If he is Specs, he does have a chance of knocking us out. We will just go for the Stone Edge right here. We do land, we do not get the kill, but it did not matter because he did tell me afterwards that he was Focus Sash for Bombay, which is interesting being Quiver Dance. Some people need to realize Quiver Dance is okay, but Rabambi's so frail that it doesn't really happen. Even with Sash, like I had Extreme Speed Entei and stuff, so Specs Rabambi just does so much damage. It's a lot better bringing than Quiver Dance in my opinion. I'm going to sack Shaman here, because Cobalion's more helpful for me versus the Snorlax. As he goes into Rabambi here, I click A-Speed no matter what, because he's either sacking Rabambi here or he's going to sack the Rotom Wash. There's no reason for me to click any other move, because otherwise it'd be an over prediction. There's a chance the Rabambi stays in and knocks out my Entei. So as I just go for the Extreme Speed, we will knock out the Rotom, and he will go right back into Crook. Right here I am 1,000,000% need to save Entei, otherwise I just lose to Rabambi. So as I will go into Gligar here on his incoming knockoff, he will unfortunately get rid of our Eviolite, but since I am a very defensive Gligar still, and Gligar still has base 105 defense, we still eat hits from this Crocodile since it is only Choice Scarf, which is very important. So as he goes into Snorlax here, I will just opt to go for the U-turn, predicting him not to stay in with Crook and either going to Rabambi and give me a free sack, or he goes into Snorlax, which is the main play I predicted. So I get to go into Cobalion here. Unfortunately, when I was looking into calcs, there's no way I knock him out with close combat here, unless he has like absolutely no defense investment and he's more offensive than anything. And since he showed the leftovers, I was really doubting he was going to be offensive. Go for the close combat. He does show to be defensively bulky, as he only takes around 75% from that. I do luckily live a body slam after my -1 defense drop, but he does get the paralysis. That does not really come into play here. Is a 30% chance anyways, and nothing too bad. And right here, he will just switch out the Snorlax and he will sack his Rabombe, which is a good play in my opinion, because Rabombe can't do anything as long as Entei's still alive, which is pretty clever. And that's basically that. I mean, nothing else really to say. And the para didn't really matter too much because we do get off our attacks. And Crook will come in here. Crook was Scarf already, so it would get the outspeed on Cobalion. As he does show some nice tech here as he goes for Throat Chop. Would have been smart because it does stop the Hyper Voice from Mega Gardevoir. Cobalion will go down to that. He does get his Moxie boost. Gligar 1,000,000% comes in and Roostalls this thing. It's perfectly fine. If I was a Taunt instead of U-turn Gligar at this point, I just won. The reason for that is you will see he goes for Throat Chop here right now, and he crits my Gligar. That didn't matter because his Snorlax was a Rest, Sleep Talk, Curse. I could not beat that with the team I had as of right now, unless Entei got like a very strong Sacred Fire damage. But even then, he was thick fat probably, so it really didn't matter. Crook just gets to sweep with Throat Chop at this point, so the crit just really made it so he wasn't allowed to set up with Snorlax. But if I was the taunt Gligar, I just would have won. So that kind of sucks that it did not work out for me like that. Once again, it was just bad prep. Like if I would have, not on Nico's part, but it was bad on my side for not doing the prep myself and being like involved in it, because I would have been ready for lax and stuff like that. And when looking at the team afterwards, I was like, dang, my team is actually really weak to Snorlax after setup. I didn't bring Taunt, I didn't bring Whirlwind, I didn't bring any of that, like any of my Pokemon. It was just bad prep altogether. Like if I would have been more into the team build with Nico and the rest of my front office and the ACC and stuff like that, this battle would have been a lot closer in my opinion. It was close anyways, but a little bit more hopefully leaning our way. Matt still did an amazing job. He had very good predictions in the battle. He had solid prep, of course, with like the Air Slash, of course, to making sure he can hit Shaman and stuff like that. The Rotom with Diapapa was nice, Defog Rotom, all that. He had really solid prep along with the Throat Chop Crocodile and stuff. So he deserved that win. I definitely did not. That's all I was trying to mention right there. So unfortunately we are 0-2 coming into week 2 of P4G Next Generation, which is really unfortunate. So I'm a very superstitious person when it comes to that, and the fact I haven't lost 2 times in a row in the longest time, not saying that in too much of a cocky manner because I deserve these losses, so it's just pointing it out. I am superstitious, so I definitely want to make changes to the team, and that change I decided to make was I dropped Mega Gardevoir and I picked up a Mega Diancie. I'm not going to make a transaction video, so that's why I'm just mentioning this. If I didn't have the core set immediately in the draft, I probably would have drafted Mega Diancie in the first place. Mega Guard deserves to be dropped for missing this Focus Blast anyways. 70% accurate, I know, but still holding a grudge for that. And Mega Diancie with Kyurem-Black is just going to be absolutely ridiculous, and Mega Diancie is one of the best megas in the format anyways, or best megas period. So getting that with Kyurem-Black is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Hopefully that will help out the team a lot more. Make sure to check out APA for this week, as we will be taking on Mewtwo fan Nate in the New York Noibats for week 4 of the APA. And make sure to look forward to next week for P4G Next Generation. We take on Coach Aaron 2420 and the Calgary Infernapes, I believe. So that'll be it from me for this week for P4G. Make sure to sub, like, share, deuces.